Kia ora, good evening everybody. You're here with Boys Get Paid for the final time, unfortunately, this season. We're coming at you live from the Export Beer Garden studio on another Thursday night where we've got a huge weekend of racing ahead. Or as always, I'm Matt. Dan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, mate, I'm good, mate. I'm pretty run out of energy. The last few weeks have been a bit of a toll on the old body, but no, I'm ready. I'm fired up. I'm ready to get this last one out the way and see if we can have a clean sweep.
Good man. You're like a Warriors prop. You just keep showing up, doing the hard work, and you just keep showing up set after set. We've got a great show planned for everybody out there. As always, thank you so much for being with us. Get in the comments. Let us know your best bets. But also, we've got a very special guest. Me and Dan have been wetting the whistle because we've got plenty of questions to ask the CEO of TAB New Zealand, Cam Rodger, who's all the way over in Perth at the moment. If you've got any questions for Cam, make sure you get them in. Cam, mate, it's good to see you. How are you getting on over there?
Good, boys. Just enjoying a bit of this Perth sunshine out here. Yeah, flying. How are you?
We're going good. We're going real good, mate. But, the reason we've got you on is obviously because we've got Waitak on Saturday night in the Quokka. But before we get to that, I understand you've flown over early to get to some sort of greyhound meeting tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, spot on, boys. I'm going to Cannington, which I thought about how to characterize this on the way over. So it's a place I've ended up many times, but a place I've never been to. Think about that one.
Okay.
Ended up there a lot. Today will be the first time I'll be there. I'll be there in person, which will be exciting.
Nice. And have you got some bets on at the Dogs tonight, mate?
I have actually, yeah. So we've actually got through the Australian business, we've got a runner in the slot race. So the way it works over here is that it's a tri-code sort of slot week. So tonight's the Sand Groper, which is for the Dogs. Tomorrow's the Nullarbor for the Pacers, and then on Saturday we've got the Quokka. So the Australian business has got a slot tonight with our dog, Hector Fawley, drawing the six box. And by all accounts, we've got the dog in 7 likes to go right. The dog in 3 likes to cut in. So we're hoping that we get a clear little run through. And we lob at least a place, but we'll be finding out the finish hopefully. So that's the plan tonight.
Dan, you love the Dogs, mate. Have you got a bet on there?
That's a lie. But look, I've probably seen myself many a times at 2 o'clock in the morning having a bet at that greyhound track for sure. I'm sure of it.
Ended up there, but never been there. There you go.
Yeah.
The Sand Groper, is that the name of the race? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, Sand Groper. Yeah. Yep.
Race number 5.
Race 5. Yeah, it's early doors, so you can get in pretty early, boys. It'll be good. Be a good time. So yeah, should be my first time at Cannington, as I say. So it should be a good time.
Nice. Good luck for that. I think we can all have a crack at the Sand Groper tonight. I'm sure some of our audience listening in. Remember to get your questions in, people. Cam, it's great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us, mate. We just, important to have a little bit of a chat about Saturday night, obviously, because it's going to be a huge night for you guys, and you've got a slot in the race, and you've got a bloody good horse in the race too. But I guess, firstly, the Quokka is a race that people in New Zealand probably haven't traditionally watched so much as opposed to some of those big slot races like the Everest over in Australia. So what's the deal behind it, mate? Why are you guys having a crack at it?
Mate, yeah. So it's pretty early doors in terms of it's early on in its life cycle. So it was the first run last year actually, and probably our desire to get involved. We had the crack with the Everest, which most of your community would have been across, and it's just great. Slot racing gives the chance for us to talk about the racing long way out, to dive deep into the runners, break it all apart, and so we're big believers in it. And yeah, we thought Kiwis loved when we got involved with I Wish I Win in the Everest, so why not go again over here in WA? A little bit more rogue, which is cool, so it's a little bit more low key, doesn't take itself too seriously like maybe the Everest does, so a whole different vibe. But mate, it's still 5 million up for grabs. And yeah, look, we set out to find the horse, and we thought we got a pretty good one after we saw that railway run by Waitak. So, that we're pretty excited to be involved.
Interesting. I seen the team earlier in the week when they went to the barrier draw were hoping to get barrier 10, and then they've gone and nailed barrier 10. How good is that?
Yeah, spot on. I mean, he needs to be off the pace, so we weren't too concerned about where he lobbed really. And I think Scotty's lucky numbers 10. He reckons he's won more big races from the 10 draw than anywhere else. So that was all that was really behind that. So a good omen to start it off.
Waitak's paying $26, I see this afternoon. Is that worth a bet?
Yeah, well, look, in terms of how we pick our slot horses, I mean, we've got so many of these things at the moment. It's kind of hard to keep track. But we work with Dan O'Sullivan, who does BetSmart ratings. You guys might see a bit of his stuff around. And we talk to Hunty in our team as well, who's really sharp in terms of lining them all up. And yeah, look, with Waitak, I mean, it's just that he's got so much unknown upside is sort of how we were attracted to him. You have to, we're not going to put a horse forward that can't be competitive. And, sometimes, the best way to kind of catch them on the hop in a race like this is to have some of that upside that the market maybe hasn't seen. So, I think on the back of that railway performance, and he was raced upside down over there at Te Rapa after that. It's he's a puncher's chance for sure. So I'd be climbing in. I think he might be getting even slightly better odds than that, closer to race jump if you're keen. So we're pretty excited about what he can do out there.
When the CEO of the TAB tells you you're going to get better odds closer to the race, you just wait, don't you? It's great inside knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that railway win was something to behold, eh? Like I just remember it being like unbelievable the way it ran through the field that day. Was that the day Woz got 7 winners or something? That was unbelievable. Yeah, that was a really impressive win. Even his fresh up win was really good as well, because I remember the season before he sort of went on the Derby path, didn't he? And I think that he maybe, they found out that maybe he likes a shorter trip. But yeah, that was super impressive, that second run in the railway.
Yeah. And anyone who's caught him in real life, I mean, he's a unit. Like when you see him, there's so much to him. He's so muscular and well put together. So look, we think there's a lot of upside that the market won't be taking in, especially in over here, mate. They just never give the Kiwis the respect that they deserve to begin with. So you've got built-in value there already. So hopefully he can do us proud on Saturday.
Muscular unit. Was he describing Kimmy's or?
It's a shame the old boy's not here with us today. That is a shame. But look, everybody out there that's listening in, if you got any questions, Cam won't be with us for too much longer. He's a very busy man, so thanks very much for joining us, Cam. But let us know if you do have any questions. Thanks very much for joining us. Hopefully everybody's enjoying hearing from Cam. Mate, there's a sponsorship of the Quokka. I see Kia are sponsoring it. How about Tab NZ Quokka in 2025? Any chance?
Hey, mate, I wouldn't rule it out. We've got a lot of sponsorships going on at the moment. Kia, one of the great rebrands as well in terms of their visual of their logo, can I just say. It always bugs me out how well they've put that all together. But, mate, who knows? We've got a NZB Kiwi to get through, obviously, in March of our own, so our slot race. And, we're pretty excited about that. And, hopefully soon we'll be able to identify or lock in another Everest slot, because we're searching for a redemption there. We actually got a win as well. You boys, you were there, Dan, at least on Friday, in terms of Merlin getting home in the SCNZ slot as well. So, mate, it's been a good run for the slot racing over here, at least. Long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a hell of a one. I unfortunately couldn't be there, but I heard all of the raucous and all sorts. It was a bloody good night, Dan.
Yeah, she was pretty loose.
It was a great night. And same thing there. It just shows, that slot racing really is just a thing that we need as part of the ecosystem now. It gets people involved, gets people out, gets people excited. That field and the trot was amazing. The field and the pace was just as good. So, it's definitely part of the future, should I say.
That night, I think it's a little bit different when you're there versus when you're not there. You might feel a little bit different about it, but being there and being a part of it, and the weather was a little bit shabby leading up to it, but it's sort of like the heavens opened at about 4:00, and it just was absolutely spectacular. But that night as a whole, I felt like there was a vibe I've never felt at Cambridge before. It was, it was some that trot race. I've never. In the life of watching harness racing, I've never seen that many horses all together in one good race. It was, it was outstanding.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. And I think, well done to Cambridge. I mean, it's easy to say now. It's a lot easier to be bold now, I guess. But David Branch and the team over there took a real punt on that race when it was a bit harder sailing. So I'm pretty proud of them, and I think they did themselves proud on that Friday night. So hopefully we can get some news pretty soon about what the future might hold for that race, because it's one that we thought did great in terms of our turnover. I think we did 60% up year on year. So if we can keep that trajectory going, it could fast become one of our big races, which is awesome.
You were happy that the BGP Punters Club didn't make any money, were you?
I was happy you boys got out, to be honest with you. Jeez,
yeah, true.
like it's hard to watch when you're getting done, the way it was with some of those breakers and whatnot. So, I was glad to see you boys get out, to be honest with you, in that last, because you fought hard. So well done. It wasn't an easy night on the punt, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
Absolutely, yeah. Good on Fitzy, mate. We're just talking about some of the highlights there. Obviously, we're talking about some really good things that have happened this season. If you were to pinpoint one highlight, honestly, everybody out here and everybody within our community would say that racing this season has just taken such a step up, and you and the team have been such a big part of it. But if you were to identify one thing out of the whole season that's been and that's still going, what would you say is the highlight?
Hard to go past for me, I guess, KM night. I know it's obviously a night that you boys have got a great affinity with, and it's been a spectacular meeting for a long time, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, it was just sort of that week was just massive. We had the NZB Kiwi announcement on the Monday, and then we had the barrier draw on the Wednesday, which was, something a little bit different. And
amazing.
That race, yeah, and then that race night on Saturday, I mean, I think I said it as well, it blew all of our expectations out of the water in terms of how much growth it saw in that 1 year. And I say all the time, boys, from our end, from Entain side, we haven't even got onto the new platform yet, and we haven't relaunched the tab brand. We haven't put a new brand in market, so we haven't really done anything different in terms of the punting experience yet. That's really close now, thank goodness. But the most of that's just being driven by, I guess, this sort of different attitude and, maybe just a little bit of positivity from everyone, really. So, yeah, that was the week where I felt like, shit, we're probably going to be all right here. And, I think we haven't really let it slip since then, to be honest with you. So that was the big highlight that week.
Yeah, the feeling and the vibe that I got from Ellerslie on KM night, it was like the return of the Big E was going back, but I got Randwick vibes. Not maybe on a slightly smaller scale, but it just felt like it was it was like a real event. It was like, oh shit, we're here now.
Couldn't agree more, man. I think we had a few in our business, at least we had a few of the Aussie boys and girls come over for their first experience. I know that they probably thought it was going to be some 40 people in a stand watching a few nags go around, and then they were blown away, right? I mean, it was a lot closer to Randwick on the first day of the championships than it was to that. So, everyone was pretty blown away by it. So, yeah, I think we're on a pretty good trajectory.
And that's only going to get even better as people know that racing's back at Ellerslie. But that Karaka Millions night must have been made all the better with Damask Rose running third, eh? I was talking to you on the Monday or the Friday before, wasn't it? The horse wasn't even in the race, and there you go. That's why it's your highlight, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it was pretty special, to be honest with you. Like, because we with the association with Waikato and I Wish I Win, we just sort of saw that there was a few shares left in a Savabeel filly, and we thought, oh, why not get involved just because of that connection? And yeah, it turns out she turned out to be pretty good. So we snuck into the race sort of last minute, and we did have a feeling if she got in, she'd go pretty good because I know that Opie had ridden her in track work and said, she felt really good under the saddle or whatnot. So, yeah, we were pretty thrilled. But to be honest, I didn't really have much time to think. One of the consequences of that condensed race night is you just don't have a moment to breathe, really, and it's all over. So, yeah, it really didn't sink in until the next day, to be honest with you.
Was that the one that got him because Maricado got
Ted's
scratched?
horse got scratched for Cam Rodger's horse.
Yeah, because I whacked that one to win before Maricado came out. Jeepers, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got the early mail and we got the good odds on Damask Rose. So thanks very much, mate. Hey, we won't keep you for too much longer, but I think did you have any more questions, Dan? Or you?
Oh no, maybe just about Sheffield Sparky, mate. Can we go back and have a look at that that third place run from a couple of weeks ago? Fourth place run. I think I'm pretty sure it came third.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know what was going on, we sent Cam a video a couple of Saturday nights ago when a horse run fourth that actually ran third. Did you check the video and did we get paid out, Cam?
I didn't go back and check, but I wish I had because, God, this has turned into a real saga, this one.
It was actually funny because Ben, after we sent the video to Cam, Ben pulled up the photo from the Harness Racing Australia website, and it was clearly fourth.
Oh, yeah.
There was a real margin in it, boys. There was a real margin.
It was a half head.
We were seeing sideways at that point. But anyway, we had to have a crack at it. All good. Hey, mate, you talked about a few things that are coming next. Obviously, the Kiwi next year is going to be outstanding. You've still got the relaunch of the TAB and all of that good stuff coming up. But is there anything else next year that the community should start getting pretty excited about?
Yeah, well, I mean, so we've got the relaunch of the website and app, which is really soon now, only a few weeks away actually. So, for us, that's a big milestone. That's going to be us getting on a platform that we can really feel like we can sell punters, the product that we want to be selling, which is going to be exciting. We'll redo the Tabby brand, which I think most people know. So that's not changing the name or anything. It's just giving it a bit more life, a bit of a different feel, and we'll launch a new brand later in the year as well. Just something that, if you haven't got that connection to Tab, or it just doesn't feel like it's for you, then you can get into something different, and it will be a slightly different betting experience and everything else as well. Probably the one that people don't know as much about is that we are actually we're redoing the whole retail network as well. So those old SSTs that take forever to get a banknote in, and like you go to try to scroll down, but it's like a touch button that doesn't make any sense. All of that's going in the bin effectively. So from sort of end of this year, start of next year, we'll be rolling out new SSTs, and mate, just quality of life stuff like the nav is matching what you'll find on the app. So it's intuitive. It has the full offering, so you can get fixed odds, exotics, and everything that you get online. And just little things like tap and go instead of having to go find some person to print you a voucher somewhere or whatever the hell else you're doing. So that's probably the thing I'm really excited about that I think we haven't had much of a chance to showcase or talk about. But yeah, we'll just make it a really seamless retail experience. The ability to push, if you're in our retail stores or in a pub venue of ours, and being able to push like dedicated offerings for being in venue to you. So if you're watching UFC at a partner venue, you might get 3 or 4 extra bonus bet tokens or whatever else might happen. So just little innovations like that, that's just going to really make the social betting experience a lot better. That's probably what I'm most excited about.
Yeah,
outside
nice
of the rest of it.
How good. Those machines are a pain in the ass, like especially when you're waiting for like 30 people in front of you and they're trying to put $1 each way on something, and it's like a minute left to go. It's like, come on, let me just go and whack this thing. Come on.
Sure.
Just on that, a couple of weeks ago, when those sort of rogue videos were coming through, before that we were at Little HQ, and we, Leo was nice enough to put the racing up on the big screen for us, so we got to sit there for the day and watch the punting. But one of the things we noticed was a lot of the other patrons that were in the bar that probably wouldn't be interested in racing, we noticed just starting to watch it, and then the kids were like picking horses, and they were sort of getting more engaged and more involved. How do we go about getting more of that vibe in the pubs throughout New Zealand? Because I think that's a trick I think maybe we're missing, because the majority of bars and pubs you go into now, it just doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, it's a great shout, mate. I think Rob Wellwood said on Twitter a while ago that was how he got into racing, right? Was sort of seeing it on TV. If you don't have that family connection, if you're not like apprenticed in, is kind of how we describe it. Like that's pretty much your way to find it, right? And so there's probably 3 parts to it. I guess 2 of them hopefully are in trained and people have seen. So making trackside a proper viewing experience, so not just race to race, generic coverage, but actually putting some color around it, like we did with the Cambridge night, like we do on Premier Trackside days, and like we want to start doing on just more regular events, right? So Friday night trots, Saturday gallops, making it something that I guess the test for me would be, if you're not a fan of the sport, would you sit there and watch it and enjoy yourself, right? That's probably the test. So there's that. And, hopefully people have seen the Trackside rebrand, seen, our investment in terms of talent. We've got Jane on there. We've got our team, which are getting far more opportunities to present on course. And, Britt Taylor's over here and the rest. So, yeah, really making that a premium offering. And then probably the other part of it is being back on free-to-air, right? So, for it to be on in a lot of these pubs that maybe don't have a TAB, they have to have a couple of Sky decoders. That investment for a pub's probably not really on the radar. But if the presentation's strong and people are enjoying the content, and it takes nothing but to flick it on a couple of TVs, then we're starting to get into the game a little bit, if that makes sense. So those are probably the 2 things we're working on at the moment. And then the last piece that sits over all of that is probably just the perception of racing changing a little bit, which we're hopeful is starting to happen naturally too. It's got to be cool again, right? It's got to be something that's not seen as something that happens in the corners and people punt on it in dark rooms, because it's just not the reality. Let's make it great again, basically make it what it used to be, and have people be proud to be supporters of it and punting on it and watching it and everything else. So yeah, that's sort of the strategy in simple terms, boys.
Nice one.
Geez, that was a real good rundown, mate. That's outstanding. It gets you fired up, doesn't it? I just absolutely love it. I love the direction that you guys are taking. Honestly, mate, this season has been so great. And even, I think the one thing that I was going to say was that your guys' presence and your friendliness and willing to try things and get involved, like even this, you probably expected to jump on for 5 minutes, and here we are 20-odd minutes later and we're talking about racing. So, sorry if you're supposed to be on a call or you're getting all these text messages through. So thank you so much for your time. You guys have done an outstanding job. It's been awesome working with you guys this season. I know the community have really appreciated it. Everybody's looking forward to what's coming next as well. Firstly, Waitak on Saturday night. It sounds like we should have a bet at $26, but let's really looking forward to next season, mate. You guys have done an outstanding job.
No worries, boys. And I was thinking to you guys. I mean, you guys have been doing this for a long time, and we love your community, obviously, and we try to help you guys out or whatever, but give you space to do your own thing. You guys have been doing this for a long time, and you guys know what you like and how to get it all done. So we've just been a joy to be on the ride with you guys. And I should plug it as well. We are going to have a watch party at Ellerslie following the races at the TAB winning post. So if any of the community are keen to hang around for that, do so. That'd be awesome. We're going to put on barbecue or something for everyone and just hang out in a great spot and watch the race. So should be a good time.
That's a good point, actually. Steak sandwiches, I understand. I love a steak sandwich. Mate,
love that winning post bar.
Oh,
That's
the
so
winning
good.
post bar. The buffet that you guys put on for Derby Day, it had duck on it, mate. That was incredible.
Hey, I got the invoice for that a bit later, and I thought, oh, wow.
Did you? Well.
It might have been a one-time thing, but I mean, that space is awesome. And it's been just great, mate. I don't know, just to see people in there punting, having a good time, loving being at the races, it's just awesome. It's where you want to be. So, get along if you haven't yet.
Absolutely. That's Saturday in the winning post after Ellerslie. Cam, thank you so much. I'm sure you've got some export goals to go and have before the Greyhounds tonight. And you go and enjoy yourself. Have a good weekend. And good luck for Saturday night, eh? That's a really, really cool initiative from you guys. Once again, I hope Waitak gets the job done.
Awesome, mate. Up Waitak. See you, boys.
Cheers, Cam.
See you, Cam. I think we took a little bit more of his time than he anticipated, eh?
Yeah, I think we did, yeah.
What was the memo to him? What did you tell him? 5 minutes?
Yeah, sort of 5-10 minutes. Let's just have a quick chat. And he said, mate, no worries. Anything you need.
Oh, anything we need. We did half an hour, actually. Yeah, what a great guy. Thanks so much. I hope everybody took some value out of that that's out there. I like I said, Dan, honestly, seeing him and the team from TAB Entain at the races, giving time, talking to people, wanting to know what they can do better, talking to people about what they're trying to do better as well. I think that alone has just made such a difference, and they demonstrated again tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things and one of the tricks is, when it comes to the Punters Club, I guess it's us versus the tab. We do want to take them on and we want to take them down. But I guess in order for us to be able to put on the events and do the things that we want to do, we really need their support to try and help us, engage, get the rooms, do the different things that we want to do. And I think they've really, Cam in particular has really nailed it. And he sort of said it to me a few times, we've got the pathway to the younger audience and to try and get them in. And he wants to really embrace that. And that's really cool to, a few years ago, we would have had the CEO of the TAB on having a chat. You probably would have laughed.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know who it is. It's probably the first point, but yeah, you just don't know who to talk to. Like Cam, he just gets it. He just gets it, and just all the things that he was saying there. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm really looking forward. This is the last podcast, so although we reflect on this season, can't wait for next season after a break.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely need a little break. But yeah, I cannot. I'm already thinking about how do we fire up this Everest? What do we do to get this going?
Yeah. Well, Imperatrice can't go anymore. So what? Pour the wine?
Oh, you dirty birdie. What about the Sans Dute?
Sans. Oh shit. Yeah, that's a good shout actually. All right, there could be something that crops up. Righto, mate.
Get us back on track.
We've taken way too much time up. Hopefully everybody is still hanging on in there. Get your best bets coming in, people. We are going to go through a few races. We've only got 3 to get through, and we'll get through the best bets. It is the last show, so forgive us if we do take our time with it. But enjoying it with a couple of beers. So hopefully everybody else is too. Right. Quick recap on Cambridge, Dan. I didn't make it down there, unfortunately. Dad duties have to be responsible, but I watched it on telly. I followed it on the app. It looked like a fantastic night, and it was great to get out at the end of it.
Yeah, gee whiz. Was it? Was it what? Yeah, it was looking a little bit hairy there at the end, but obviously we would have loved to have had a few more winners and make some money throughout the night, but to get out of jail and give everyone the entertainment for the night and then everyone break even, I think that's And that's a pretty good result, you know. The majority of people that maybe would have been punting on that night probably would have done their dough because it was a pretty tough night punting. But look, yeah, I had a great night. I think David Branch needs, and I think Cam mentioned it there as well. But like, what an innovator and what a guy! Like, he's just a monster of admin. Like, when we turned up there, literally didn't have to worry about doing anything. Like, we turned up, he had lanyards made for us. Cruised on in. They had like little cards like printed out BGP with the little stamp holes for the free drinks. The food was awesome, and there was food aplenty. Like, no one had any issues with any food. They bought some sort of booze soakers near the end, which I had a couple of those, which were
didn't help.
Didn't help at all. Didn't help. I didn't have any of the main food, so that probably it was. But yeah, no, it was just the whole night I thought was outstanding. They had sort of our own area blocked off for us to have all of our own seats. Like we were really well looked after, and I'm really looking forward to going and doing another event there, and I'm hoping we can sort of make it bigger and better next year. We sold 110 tickets, so we basically sold the room that we were in. Really, probably couldn't have handled much more than what we had. So we might have to look at ways we can maybe expand that a little bit if we're gonna, if we want to grow that and turn it into an event. But yeah, it was just an outstanding night. The racing was awesome. The atmosphere and the vibe on the track was outstanding. There was a big crowd. It was loud. It was like everything that you would expect. And it's quite funny because I do go to Cambridge quite regularly because my parents have horses racing down there. I'll go down there on a random Thursday night in the middle of winter, and there's 6 people down there, and it's just so different to see that many people, thousands of people all over the show, and like just it was really cool. I was really proud of of the event and to do something that was like really successful and sort of went off without a hitch.
Yeah, good on you, mate. And hopefully everybody that got involved in the Punters Club and watched along for the night enjoyed themselves and feel like they got their money's worth. And hopefully you'll be back next year as well, because no doubt we'll do it. I'm looking forward to being there. And I think well done to you, Dan, mate. You put in a lot of effort in pulling that together from way back in God knows when, maybe October, November, that started getting the ball rolling. We had some exports or something picked up in January. Like, it's been a lot of work, mate. So good on you. You should be proud of the efforts. And, thanks to everybody that turned up. Good on you, Fitzy, as well, mate. It's tough down there in the trenches. I wouldn't want to bloody do that job. There's no chance. I'm not good enough to do it, and I would never, ever want to do it. So good on you for really giving it a crack. And Matty Markham, of course, as well. Sorry. Matty Markham wasn't there on the night, but, he was. Him and Fitzy were in tandem with it. So good on you, lads. It's tough work. Coming out even when you're betting on every single race on a Saturday, if that's me, I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was quite funny because there was sort of 2 trot races that were outside of the main trot that the boys were pretty keen on staying away from. But by the time we got to the trot race sort of near the end of the night, we were in a position where we had to go because we had to find some money somewhere. And then so we went and galloped.
That's the thing with hard to say. That's what I find hard.
Yeah, it's just
it can happen, but look, it was a gave it a crack, came out even. Everybody be happy with that, and everybody will be back next year. So well done. The aftermath was Saturday afternoon at the Waz, which was also a great night for everybody that came. Thank you very much. What a game that ended up being, Dan. I mean, far out. Like, the Warriors just had their worst performance in 18 months, and they managed to come away with a point.
I had a feeling like when we went 16-0 up, I have not had this feeling with the Warriors, I don't think ever, but I thought comfortable knowing that's okay. Like, we've had a bad start, but we can get ourselves back into this game. But then when it was like sort of 5-6 minutes left, I was like, oh, we've got no chance here.
Stutto.
Because we were 8 points behind, and so it was like we need to score twice. But then it just so happened that obviously Johnson got that penalty, and that's obviously a little bit contentious. But the rules are the rules.
Yep.
And the rules say that was a penalty, and so we tied it up. And I was actually just hoping that Jackson Ford would score the last try to win, and I would have collected big
Really?
time. Yeah, real big time.
Mate.
But that's all right. These things happen.
It's okay. We had 200 in the Stacey Jones Lounge. Thanks for everybody that came along. It was a really good time. We had Anthony Gelling, who got up and answered a few questions, had a little bit of a chat at halftime. I think most people were probably preoccupied with the league at that point, but Anthony got up. Good man from the Warriors. Good on you, mate. Thanks very much for joining us. And, of course, we had the annual boat race to cap it off. There were no Sea Eagles fans for some reason. They all left. But a few of the, I wouldn't say older lads. They might not be that much older than us. They might have been in their late 30s, maybe. Sorry if I've caused any offence there. That's pretty dangerous to say. But anyway, he came up to me and he said, mate, what about this boat race? We need to have this boat race. I was like, well, there's no Sea Eagles fans here. He said, doesn't matter. Where's the youngest people here? Let's just get a boat race. It was the young Bucks versus the old Bucks, mate. Yeah. It was Luke's mates.
Yeah, how good.
They came in force, didn't they? Jesus.
It was a shitload of them.
11 of them all came in at once, surrounded Luke, asking questions.
Hey, Daddy.
Luke's still trying to dust off Friday night.
Professor Kimmy's, what's
That was quite funny, eh? But anyway, I think the Young Bucks got up in the boat race. I think there's a video of it going up today on social media as well. So always a good time. There were a few people coming up from New Plymouth as well. They got the Warriors jersey and the Bulls, and they were really, really good lads, actually. I really enjoyed chatting to them at the end of the second half. Just, they don't come up for any Warriors games, but it was a BGP event, so they came up for it. So good on you, lads. There was a few from Gisborne, and I think from up north as well. So a real good group of people that typically wouldn't come to the Warriors. So that's what is really cool about BGP, Put something on like that, and everybody comes along to enjoy it together.
What was the guy's name that we were chatting to right at the start of the night? Didn't he come from Tauranga or something?
Well, I called him Dingle, but I think it was...
Dingo.
Dingle.
Something. Yeah.
I called him Dingle. He was, mate, it's not Dingle. I can't remember what it was. He was a legend. I really loved him. He kept on winning Quinellas.
He was unbelievable. I've never seen a guy pick so many Quinellas.
Fuck, I loved him. He was like, where's Ted? I need some tips from Ted.
I don't think you need him.
You don't need them, Dingle. Not Dingle. But anyway, yeah, it was great to see some of the faces there. Hope everybody had a good time. Righto, mate, let's skip the racing that happened on the weekend. We did have two best bets that came in. We had the ugly sister from Ted. That was a very, very easy watch when I saw the replay that night. The Scan Man got Better's Anvil on Saturday Saturday in the harness. Mate, you cleaned up in a big movie girl on song at Riccarton first up.
Yeah. And once again, Dan's done it to himself and said, this is my best bet, and it galloped and come nowhere. And he goes, maybe you should bet on this one as well, on song, and called it. That was a really impressive win, and that was very impressive time as well. That's a good horse on song. Keep an eye out for that one.
Absolutely. Righto. Orchestral, mate. I did say we'll skip last week's races, but let's just quickly touch on Orchestral because, that was a shame.
Yeah, it was. I think afterwards, just recap. I mean, she's still run third in a Group 1. So let's not...
true.
Let's not forget. True. That's pretty impressive in Australia, Group 1, Australian Oaks, which is pretty impressive. But I think it was maybe, it's at the end of a long season. And I think she'll be coming back better and stronger next year. And watch out Australia.
Definitely, I think the Aussies have picked up on how good this horse is as well. I saw all the tipsters were tipping her to not be possible to beat her, but as is horse racing, can happen. So Orchestra will be bigger and better, I'm sure, next season if there isn't any more races this season to come.
Can we just touch on Pride of Jenny?
Oh yeah, that's crazy, eh?
That was the most outrageous thing I've ever seen. Like, what was it, 26 links in front or something? I was like, this is unbelievable. What have I seen? And I was just hoping for that other thing to run second.
What's that horse's name?
It was something Anne, was it? Oh, I can't remember what it was called. J-Max one. It was the one that Punt IQ had as his best bet a couple of weeks ago. It was first start in Australia. Whatever the case, it was... that was a spectacular win. But everyone's been saying afterwards about the ratings and the way that the horse went. And everyone's blaming all the other jockeys and everything like that. But I think you probably need to give it to Declan and Pride of Jenny. Like, she's just smashed him.
Put them in a body bag?
Yeah.
You were going to say that?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Mate, you normally see a horse get out that far in front. Well, you never see a horse get out that far in front. But if they do get really far in front, they're getting caught at the line. But this wasn't getting caught.
Just kept going.
Still going.
Yeah.
Like, there was no ground being made on her.
Crazy.
What an amazing horse.
Yeah.
That's great. I think I've had a bet on her in maybe the Cox Plate next year. I don't know if that's a good race for her, but I think she was paying like $15 or something after she beat Mr. Brightside in that earlier 1600 metres.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great race for her, romping around the valley. Imagine that.
She's clear. Yeah, if she gets 20 lengths ahead at the valley into the corner, you ain't catching
ya.
her, right?
No chance.
No chance, mate.
The finishing straight's only 50 metres or something, isn't it? So.
That's why it sucks to bet at, but hopefully we can get that one home. Righto, let's get on to this weekend, mate. The blessed bet. Dan?
Yeah.
Mate, we're going back to an old favourite.
We're going back to the well. Man, I love this horse.
Yeah.
Like, this horse has won me some cash this year. But you've got to stay true to your roots and your understanding of racing. And our understanding of racing is that Harwater form always stacks up. And that's just a fact. So this week we've gone to Snazzy Tavy. We're in race 7 at Ellerslie, which is meeting 2. Snazzy Tavy to win. I think it was boosted from 550 out to 650. We're going to wrap out the season with one of our favourite horses, and we're just going to give it a crack. And we're going to hope that she's stepping back to the 1600 here, which I'm hoping is her preferred distance. Carries 53 kilos. Wazza on board, and hopefully the Wizard of Waz has a day out.
Yeah, he's due one. And probably a disclosure in case Mark Easton's listening. This was just we need to make a blessed bet this week, and we see Snazzy Tavy in there. Let's have a crack at it, eh?
Absolutely, you've got to.
Yeah, you just absolutely have to. It's a favourite. We're giving the community $1 extra to punt on it if you do like it. But yeah, I'd love to see this. Just to wrap up after the last podcast, Snazzy Tavy get a win. After how much we've talked about it, Luke was the first one to bring it up, but fuck, we've talked about this horse every week.
Yep, absolutely.
Outstanding. Righto. Okay, let's get into some quick previews here. We've got the Trelawney Stud Championship Stakes at Ellerslie, Group 3. It's great to have racing in Ellerslie this week, but I see it's going to be pissing down. So hopefully this, the Strathair track sticks to a good fork, because that's all I've done my form on. But yeah, Dan, you like a interesting horse here.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a good race. Funny enough, in here you'll see a horse called Just One, who I labelled as a Derby winner a while ago, and that didn't happen to be the case. Didn't even make the field. But yeah, that's a reasonable horse. I think it goes all right at Ellerslie. I think it's its first time back at Ellerslie since it won that slashing run in the I don't know if it was what it was, but it was like the race before the Avondale Guineas. I can't remember what it was.
Was that on the 14th of January when we were there?
Yeah.
This is Just One?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, and then we got Solidify as well. I think I'm out on Solidify a little bit. I just it's hard to follow. Investigate I thought went really well last start and just went down. I think that one's one to follow because that runs second to Overstock, who
out of stock. Yeah,
which was pretty nice and pretty impressive. But I've actually I've gone and looked down the bottom of the book here. Found a $900 gelding from the James Wellwood stable called Northeasterly, and I thought it's only had 2 starts, and both of them were pretty impressive. It was sort of screaming home, coming home nicely over 1400. Last start, I thought it got quite far back and ran home quite well over the 1600. Now it steps up for the first time over 2100. I have a feeling once we get to sort of this time of the year that a lot of the horses that had a lot of racing start to maybe get weary legs and start to maybe have a little bit of trouble. And every now and then, one of these horses just pops up and they just they just have a little bit of X factor out of the autumn sun. I don't think the 2100 is going to be any problem. So I think for me, I'd have it each way. Maybe a win in a top 4 bet northeasterly, $12.
The last Roger James, Robert Wellwood horse that cost anywhere near that was Prowess. So if that's anything to go by, gee whiz, you could be right. I definitely had Northeasterly. I looked at the fields on Tuesday night and thought, shit, that's been running really well. I actually had a bet on it last start, and it was very keen. Then it was weaving through the field, finished really nicely. So I think, that could be a good runner. But I forgot about it last night when I was just checking everything. So. You could be right there. Investigate, I also had a top 4 bet on the Manawa 2 Classic a couple of last start, and that ran really well. But one down the bottom of the book there that I did settle on with a little bit of an asterisk on Northeasterly, but Moonlight Magic at $4.50. If you look back at that last start against Investigate, which I think you saw, it got absolutely smashed at the 150 metres and just didn't really get a chance when it was kind of just settling itself, ready to have its final sprint. I think it got smashed by Investigate and also out of stock. So it just, you can basically write that off. The start before that, it got quite far back in the Oaks. Didn't finish, I think it finished maybe 6th, but it was running home really, really well from a backward position. And then the start before that, at Ellerslie, it was 6th, but it was only about 1.2 lengths off Positivity, I think, in that race that we were there, actually, for Benny Masters' Stag Do. So I think that horse is going really, really well. From barrier 6, Craig Grills, 55 kgs. if a heavy track, or it's not going to be a heavy track, is it? But if it goes to a soft track, I think it'll handle that too. So
I don't even know if it'll go to a soft track.
Will it? Well, why not? I don't know either. We don't know yet, do we? I mean, I've just looked at Auckland weather. There's thunderstorms.
Interesting.
What does that mean for the track?
I don't know. Apparently it can take 200 mils of rain and be a good fall.
Okay. How much is 200 mils of rain?
I don't know. Probably a lot. I think they had 200 mils of rain at Randwick.
That's a lot of rain.
Yeah, a lot of rain. Yeah.
Sure, okay. And it can be a what?
Good fall. I think so. Pete, up. Give us the update, Pete. I'm sure. No, I've got confidence. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. Like,
good.
It's going to be a real test. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. But
yeah. Why are they running Solidify here then? Because it's only got heavy track form. Anyway, that's probably besides the point. That'll be interesting to see. The other one was Patron Saint. If that got to the front, I see it's taken some money as well. That looks like a big, huge horse that might just kick them out of the way if it gets to the front. So, yeah. It looks like we're playing around Northeasterly and Moonlight Magic and Investigate. Hopefully some power play options come up as well, which we haven't seen yet, mate.
Yeah, be a nice box trifecta maybe.
Righto, race 7, the Manco Easter Handicap, where we do have our blessed bet. I don't know whether that means that you've done the form on this race, Dan, but geez, like this is a crazy field, isn't it? Rudyard keeps on winning, and they keep opening it up at $7. And there's some other really good horses in here too.
Mate, I've been just waiting for the power plays to come out from this. So both Snazzy Tavi and Rudyard, in all of their starts this year, or this season, have not run out of the top 4. And I was just waiting and waiting and waiting to see Snazzy Tavi and Rudyard both to run top 4. And they're going to pay $4 or something like that, and I'm just going to whack it. Just empty the bank account.
Normally they've got power plays out by now, eh?
Yeah, normally they do. I don't quite. I think Cam's over there watching the greyhounds.
They've got the power plays out in the Quokka, I see. But what about what about the Manco Easter Handicap, guys?
Sorry, Cam, I mean, throw you under the bus. Not your job. Yeah.
Okay, so you're liking Rudyard and Snazzy Tavi?
Yeah, I think so, and I think I'll Cornell them as well. That Chattahoochee goes pretty good as well.
Yeah.
But just one of the things that I've been trying to look for every time there's racing at Ellerslie is horses that have gone well at Ellerslie as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, Snazzy Tavi hasn't raced there, so there is no disclosed form for Ellerslie. But Rudyard has had he's had 4 starts for 2 wins, a third and a fourth.
Yeah.
So there's form there at Ellerslie.
Yeah, keeps on winning. Snazzy Tavi has run well on a good 4 at Pukekohe as well, which I'd like to suggest will translate well onto a.
Yeah, I hope so. Same way round.
Yeah, same way round. Fuck, it's a fast track, that Pukekohe track. So, yeah, it could be the same thing. Ted is now taking over the management of Billy Jacobson's races, and he's on St. Bathans this week. So, no doubt he'll be keen to see St. Bathans win this race, I'm sure. I thought that did have a really good chance in this race, actually. I think it's been going quite good. I also thought Devastate is a very good horse. Going along with your theory of fresh legs, it's not had too much of a break, but I think it had a bit of a freshen up before its last run against Rudyard, where it was squeezed out late at Pukekohe, I think it was, when it was looking to go and win that race in the last 100 metres. So maybe that could just have the fresh legs on them as well. I see it's taken some money, $9 into $7.50 as well. So, yeah, I'll be having a crack at the Bless Bet. Probably have a go at Devastate. White Noise will probably bloody win it because it always does when you don't expect it to. And, yeah, we'll all regret not having a crack at it. So let's see. Right. Before we get to everybody in the community's best bets, we'll just go through Saturday's race at Riccarton, which is race 9. It's the Coca-Cola Canterbury Gold Cup. Down there at Riccarton, obviously, for $120,000. Some of the lads' best bets are coming out of Riccarton this Saturday as well. So there's some good racing there. Good value is going to be coming out of these best bets. But Dan, hopefully you've had a chance to review this race, mate, because it looks quite open.
Yeah, not really. I've just gone in and had a quick look at it here, and I thought there's a few that stand out at me straight away. Matt Scott was impressive.
Yeah.
Its last 2 wins were real good. I think it won the Southern Alps final.
It did. Was that the GOAT's best two or three
it was.
races? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was that start before where it won.
Yeah.
Was his best bet and won quite impressively. But I thought He's a Doozy went real good last start when it ran second behind Nereus. Nereus has gone over now to Australia and is in the Mornington Cup. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, no, I didn't. Is it really?
Yeah, the Nereus and the Good Oil. Actually, Andrew Forsman's won the Good Oil. Both of them are racing in the...
How did I miss that?
Yeah, interesting. But I thought He's a Doozy was looking like it was maybe back to a bit of form. So, and there's been a bit of money already as well, $5.50 into $4.50. So I think I'll probably just try and maybe play around those two and see if, again, when there's some power plays come out, maybe see if I can find a power play with both Matt Scott and He's a Doozy, both to run top 3 or top 4, and see if I can find a little bit of value there.
Nice. Yeah, you're right. No power plays yet. Right, I'm going to go for a top 4 boxed. Time's ticking. He's a Doozy. Perfect scenario. And Matt Scott.
That's the first 4?
I think so. I'll just have a go at that. I'll put $1 on it and see what happens. I don't know enough about this race, but I'm sure there's some good South Island horses in there. But perfect scenario for me, when you see a Taco horse at a weight for age race down in the South Island, that's a good sign for me. I think perfect scenario could take it out. Time's ticking won it last year and always seems to pop up in races that they set it for. That could be a good runner too. Capo Dell'Impero's not bad, but yeah, Matt Scott and He's a Doozy as well, mate. That's good. That's where you'll be going. So you'll play around those two. I'll play around perfect scenario and time's ticking.
1,300 up to 2,000 metres. I mean, I won't question them. They know what they're doing, but gee whiz.
Perfect scenario?
Yeah.
Don't worry about them, mate.
Okay.
Let's give it a go. Righto, let's get to some of the best bets. Adam, we didn't apologise for the lateness of the start of the show, mate, but yeah, I forgot about that.
Well,
I'm not blaming anyone.
No. Well, I'll take that on a technology kind of situation we're going over here, where I did absolutely nothing, and all of a sudden everything started to work. So. Thanks for bringing that up again. I completely forgot about that. But if we get to the comments, we've got Scott here who's all on Ted's horse, Riccarton Race 8 Mazzucato. Great last week, and will love the extra distance. As we go down here as well, there's a bit on Warriors 13 plus this weekend. That seems like it's possible. Wayne, as we were talking to Cam earlier, was bummed that he got Waitak at 14s in the futures. Thought that was a good crack a few weeks ago, which would have been a hard thing to hear. I think was it 26?
26s, and Cam said wait until start time.
Yeah, that's a bit of a toughie. As we keep going down, Leonard is on Avia Sinistina.
Oh, yeah. That's been a good horse.
Yeah, Dean is on, his best bet is Ranwick Race 9. Number 15, I Know a Star. So, yeah, there's a bit of variation. There's even someone who I'm not going to name who's on the Dragons, who are facing the Warriors at 13 plus. So, I don't know about that one, but apart from that, they all look pretty good to me, mate.
Good luck out there, people, if you're backing the Dragons. Although the Warriors 13 plus over the Dragons, who just... They smoked the Tigers, I think, on the weekend. Was that right? Or who did they smoke?
Most of the league goes tiger hunting. It's not a unusual kind of thing.
Oh, they're new Tigers.
The Tigers have won 2 in a row leading into that, haven't they? But
but it's there's a long path ahead, and it is the season for it.
We'll take them down, I reckon. You're right. Good stuff, team. Thank you very much for getting your best bets in. Righto, Dan, is there anything else that you like around the traps?
Yeah, sorry,
week, mate.
I've just realised that Pukitero is racing at Mornington.
So you're loading up the account to have a bet on it?
Yeah, I'm just going to whack it.
Pukitero's on the run sheet, so I'm just going to question here your organisation of your preparation for this podcast because it's on the run sheet. So then you could question mine too because I missed an Arraius.
that win at Ellerslie was impressive, and I think it was Reese
Trumper. Was, yeah.
And then I was probably steamed. He was probably, this guy's a bloody fucking idiot. But he was like, hey, this horse is a really serious horse. I thought it was supposed to be going down south to race in a stakes race, but they've obviously, they've got a really serious opinion of it. They think this thing is a stakes horse. And the fact that they've gone and taken it over to Australia demonstrates to me that they think this thing's going to win. So I will just have a...
So you've been loading up on the TAB account to get the bet on, which is fair enough. We were going to talk about it. I'll quickly, while you're doing that, mate, I'll finish off. Ellerslie Race 5, I was going to make it my best bet, but then I looked through and there were some good horses in this race as well in Race 5. There has to be a winner and a couple of others, but I thought Bella Waters might be good each way in that race. It won pretty well last start, New Plymouth. Start before that got well back, but ran on well. Very late behind, has to be a winner from a long way back in the field. I thought that could be pretty good value for barrier 3, 54 kgs. That's in race 5. Anything else, Ellerslie, for you, mate?
Yeah, the only one that I thought of, and I think this was a couple of weeks ago when we were sitting at Little HQ, I think. You might remember this first start at the main ace from the Rogersons. That won quite impressively.
Yeah.
And that's race in its first start. It's drawn 9, but I think at Ellerslie, I mean, there's a bit on here because we've got Tony Pike's one here, Boston High Heels, and then Dream of the Moon in here as well, and then a few other ones that are maybe a little bit unknown. I thought that win was really impressive from Domain Ace, and I thought it looked like a horse that's got a bit of progression. So $7 and $2.40 to find out. I'll be having a bit of that.
Nice, mate. There's also Ted was going to make it his best bet, but he likes Sinbin, race 4 at Riccarton. And I see Luke might have said that he's made his only bet of this weekend, Sinbin, into what is going to be his best bet in race 5 at Riccarton. That definitely won't be all his bets for the weekend. But anyway, yeah, Luke likes it. Ted likes it. Sinbin, Riccarton, race 4. You might as well like it. Matamata tomorrow, there's some racing. I'm not sure if the rain's coming in before that, but race 1, Lightning Dream, paying $3.20. I quite like that. It was on a heavy track last start. The 2 starts before that was extremely unlucky. This is a Taako horse. They always go well at Matamata. So I think, Lightning Dream, race 1, $3.20. And race 3, Espadis, is a horse that's been scratched out of the races on Saturday. It was just behind Villa Balmero in its maiden run. And we know Villa Balmero was our blessed bet 2 starts back. Couldn't get the job done, but then the next time, I'm not sure if you saw it on that Wednesday at Ellerslie, man, it just smashed them.
Yeah.
So Spartus was only a length or so off them, and then there was about 1 million lengths back to the next one. So that's racing tomorrow in race 3. So I thought a couple of black book runners tomorrow might be, might set the weekend up well.
I don't know if you've seen, but there's the return to Hawara on Sunday, so watch some of those races because I tell you what, there'll be some form coming out of that.
You reckon for the winter? It's hurdles and stuff, isn't it? This is the steeple show.
There's a few horses carrying 65 kilos.
Jesus, no wonder this is our last podcast if they're starting the hurdles on Sunday. Far out. I think we've had enough when that starts to happen.
Righto, best bets?
Yeah, let's get to the best bets. We were just going to say Aussie races. Like you said, Pukatero. Did you get it at $13?
12s.
Oh, shit, the money's come. Righto. Savoir Fairs racing over there as well. Mornington race 9. Fashion shoots over there too.
Interesting.
These are horses I didn't realise it would go over there. And Ted said to mention Jimmy Star, race 9. It's paying $3, which typically we haven't got for Jimmy Star, but he's keen on it. Randwick, race 9. So definitely have a crack at that.
Sorry, also just obviously the Mornington Cup as well, which is race number 8. We've got both Nereus, which is $10 into $8.50, so it's taking a little bit of money. But then also you look down the bottom of the book there, we've got Good Oil.
Good Oil.
Who runs second in the Auckland Cup.
Yeah.
Stepping back now to the Mornington Cup distance of 2,400. The big thing about this one in particular is it's a automatic or ballot exempt for the Caulfield Cup. So you win this and you're into the Caulfield Cup.
Nereus.
Come on, baby.
Could get the job done. Mate, that's a good find there, eh? Shit, I wasn't going to watch the racing on Saturday. I was just going to have a quiet day away from it all, but you're really tempting me back in here.
I'll be in the Coromandel sitting with my dad having a couple of cold beers watching the racing all day.
That sounds like a beautiful day. I wonder what my dad's up to on Saturday. He'll probably be watching the racing, I would have thought. But I've got to put in the mahi after a couple of weeks away from home.
Yep.
So we'll see how we go. Anyway, righto, let's get to the best bets this week. Honestly, like we said, I think we said at the top of the show, there is some serious value in this. So make sure you get a multi on all of these, say top 4 or top 3. But let's run through them. Righto, Ted's best bet for the weekend. Riccarton, race 5, Contemplation Bay, paying $11 and $4.50. Forget last start as Saddle slipped and was pulled up. Back in grade here and can bounce back at nice each way odds. Contemplation Bay, race 5, that is Ted's best bet.
Right, I'm going to go to the GOAT, Riccarton, meeting 6, race 10, Boomtown Boy. I think the GOAT's had this as his best bet before, and I think it's got the boys paid. It's a back runner and needs a good track, which the weather suggests it'll get. Big field suits as generally means a good pace. So he'll get back and he'll be storming home wide from the wide draw. Doesn't matter. He'll be finishing over the top of them. $6. J.K. Riddell and Aiden Bull. Love a trip down to Riccarton.
Good on you, Goat. More value there. Righto. So surely if we just multi those two up, we're probably going to get paid about $1,000 from 20, aren't we? That's some good odds. Far out. Righto. Matty, Punt IQ, Mornington Race 10, dashing $3.30. Comes here third up last prep he won at Bendigo Comes here third up, and his historic data shows he's peaked third and fourth up on previous campaigns. Third up last prep he won at Bendigo, and the prep prior he just missed out on black type running a luckless placing. Both runs achieving a rating that would likely take out this event in a race that looks to only be run at a moderate tempo. I expect him to sit on the speed and prove very hard to beat in the last event on the card. Matty, Punt IQ, best bet, Mornington Race 10, dashing $3.30.
I love his descriptions. They just get me fired up. They just want me to reload the account and just go in.
He makes sure that you know that this is a good bet.
Yeah, just the language.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's had some very good winners this season too.
Absolutely.
He's been very consistent.
100%. Very different to this inconsistent fella that's going next because his name's Dan and it's his best bet. Ellerslie meeting 2, race 8, Lagaskay.
Luguske. Is it French?
So this horse's last 2 starts I thought were really impressive. 2 starts ago at Pukekohe, I think it was over 1,400 and looked to run on quite nicely. Then last start stepped up to the 1,600 at Pukekohe and I thought it put him away quite nicely and there were a couple of nice runs in behind it as well. But I think this horse likes that going. I think the good track, Pukekohe, I could see this horse getting out wide and putting them away. So you're getting good odds to find out as well, $7 and $2.80 or something like that. So that's meeting 2, Ellerslie, race 8, Lagaskay.
Nice, mate. That's good value again. We're making $2,000 off this multi now. Righto, the Scan Man is tomorrow evening, Ashburton, race 11. Last race at the Ash Vegas Harness, straight flush, $4.50 and $1.90 each way. Has gate speed and ran well last start behind a couple of smart ones. Looks like she should get across them early in this, and from there looks a nice hope. Scanman has also been very consistent this season. Ashburton, race 11 tomorrow, straight flush.
Nice one. Fitzy's going to go to Alexander Park tomorrow night, meeting 5, race number 2, a horse called Seclusion. Now, I do know a little bit about this horse because this one has been running behind some pretty nice horses. One called Mantra Blue and the other one was called Millwood Nike, who's still unbeaten. Some pretty nice fillies and been racing in some pretty nice filly races. Graham Rogerson and Dylan Ferguson fresh up, so there might be a little bit of inside oil there. You're getting $3.20 for the win. So it's Alexander Park, meeting 5, Friday, race number 2, Seclusion.
Nice, mate. You want to do Luke's?
Yeah, mate. Kimmy's has gone to Riccarton, meeting 6, race number 6, the Hottie. He's not talking about himself either. It's $4.80. Easy win last weekend, and I think she can repeat the lesson on Saturday. Has been running in good quality races and loves 1,400, having run top 3 in all 5 starts. Third Decree is a false favourite on a good track. We all love a Hottie. Yeah, all right. There's one we can get around. Sorry I couldn't be there for the last podcast of the season, but the winner will make up for it. Go the lads.
Good on you, Luke. How good. Finishes with a good description. Righto, I'm going to go to Ellerslie race 6, the Trelawney Stud Championship Stakes. I'm going to go with Moonlight Magic as my best bet. $4.50. Last start was absolutely sawn off at the heels by Investigate, 150 metres to go. I'm sure it was going to absolutely clean them up. Didn't get the opportunity to, but still got out for the last 50 metres and finished off very well. The start before that was in the Oaks. Start before that was in Ellerslie and finished very well at both of those. I think Barrier 6, Craig Grills, 55 kg, should be running really, really well on Saturday. There's a couple in there that show a little bit of concern. Yours, Northeasterly, Dan, potentially. But, yeah, I'm happy to run with Moonlight Magic at $4.50, race 6 at Ellerslie. Good luck if you have a crack at those. Mate, we have gone over time, but I think we should probably just finish. Hopefully there's still a few people out there with us, but we should still be finishing with a highlight from each of us for the season as well. Given it's the last episode, it's emotional, sad times. We're going to be having a little bit of a break. But what's your highlight, mate?
I think there's been so many different things that have happened, but I think if I can nail it down to one sort of experience, I think the highlight for me was going down to Riccarton for New Zealand Cup Day, and being lucky enough to be hosted by the Tab in the marquee, and that, I mean, that's the first time I've ever been to the races and sort of been in that type of environment. And I lost an absolute fortune, so I can tell you, I actually paid for me and all the guys to go with how much money I lost.
You
for the
gave
day.
to the TAB.
Yeah, 100%. But it was just an absolute ripper of a time. I really enjoyed myself. Went to the races on Friday. Went to the races on Saturday. That's an absolute highlight. Like New Zealand Cup week for me, I think is something that I look forward to every year, and I can't wait. And I'm hoping later this year that I'll be a part of it again, maybe for a little bit longer, more than 2 days.
Mate, absolutely. It sounds like there might be some things brewing for New Zealand Cup next year as well, which is pretty cool. My highlight would, off the field, so to speak, would of course be having my little lad Max. He's an outstanding human being, and he's only 3 months old. I think, there's special things to come from him. But he made me miss Karaka Millions, so unfortunately that can't be my highlight of the season. So missing that, the Derby Day would probably be my highlight. I think we just had such a great time with people in there at the opening of something which is going to become something pretty special at Ellerslie. Obviously, P-Dub hosting everybody with Cam and the TAB team as well was just a great day out. But also that barrier draw that night for the Karaka Millions at Sky City was just something that we've never seen in horse racing in New Zealand. So to be able to be a part of that was sensational.
Yeah, absolutely. And even the slot auction as well was just another event. When you start thinking back at all the different things that happened, the Everest, the this, the that, you're like, oh my God, like there was a whole boatload of stuff that happened that was just really, there's been a lot on.
Absolutely, mate. It has been a very, very big season. We've still got Best of BGP coming up over the next few weeks, so we're still going to be around a little bit, but this is it. We'll be back in, leading up to, the Foxbridge Plate, probably, I think will probably be the first race for next
what's
season.
The one at Te Rapa?
Yeah, Foxbridge.
That's the Foxbridge, yeah.
Right.
So
we'll be back before that. But, mate, Dan, to you, you've just joined us this season on the podcast and doing all the content and stuff. I would say that you have done an absolutely outstanding job, mate. So thanks very much for all your efforts. You've been a real great addition, mate. You've put in some hard work and really brought something that I'm sure the rest of the community appreciate as well.
Yeah, thank you, mate. I appreciate that.
No worries, mate. And Adam, as always, thank you very much, mate. You've done an outstanding job. To the rest of the BGP crew, Ted, mate, legend. How much effort do you put into the punt? You send out winners every week. The GOAT, as always, you've had a great season. Matty, Punt IQ. Scan Man and Fitzy, you've contributed to some harness punts this year as well. So thanks very much for the effort that you guys have put in the background. Matty Markham on the Punters Club last week. Luke, as always, would be a bloody rudderless ship without you, mate. And it's a shame that you couldn't be here with us tonight. But, as always, you're an absolutely fearless leader and everybody loves it. Thanks very much to everybody that's been involved. And obviously, most importantly, the community. This wouldn't be possible without you guys. Honestly, all the events that we've mentioned and we talk about just wouldn't happen without you guys being there. And it's so great to meet everybody there. Although we're all really busy at that time, you can kind of stand back, and as you reflect on it on the days following those events, you just think, shit, like how do you get such a great group of people together that all have such a good time? So thank you guys very much. Thanks for listening to us every Thursday night this season. I don't know how you put up with us, but hopefully we bloody found you some winners. I need to go for a piss, mate. Do you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm holding on for dear life here. I'm looking forward to next season. Hey, let's bring it on.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody, for the final time this season. Gamble responsibly this weekend. We hope you get some winners and have a great winter. Go well.
Game, set, and match. I'll shut the gate. They're going to do it again. The Karaka Million goes with and stays with. In front, Delzeo, long run, but here's the cause now. He's coming. He's going to get